Hi, I'm Eliseo Rael, percussionist with the Wheeling Symphony Orchestra and coordinator of the percussion department at Duquesne University. Today I'm going to be talking about the three etudes for the percussion audition for Allstate in West Virginia. I'm going to be covering etude number 6 from the Advanced Snare Drum Studies by Mitchell Peters. Now, in order to play this piece, there are some non-negotiable skills that you're going to need to have. An excellent roll speed, especially at soft dynamics, and a really fantastic sense of time and rhythm. This piece is slow and exposed, so any mistake in those two areas really become magnified. I would spend a lot of time on your soft playing because it's probably the most technically challenging part of this piece, and where most young players are going to struggle. So if you really want to separate yourself from the crowd, really work on that. Now you're going to want to make sure your playing is clear and even. One of the easiest ways to do that is to pay attention to your playing spots. The beads of your sticks should be close together and equidistant from the rim. Anytime you have one hand closer to the rim than the other, you're going to have what I call a tick-tock. That's where your sticks sound like they're going tick-tock, tick-tock, and that's because they're getting different pitches and slightly different volumes. Even if you have a really great sense of time and rhythm, having this tick-tock is going to make your rhythm sound bad. The next thing to decide is how you're going to base your rolls. What I mean by that is what's going to be the underlying rhythm that you're going to use when you're bouncing your sticks. For the soft dynamics, I would use 16-note triplets, and for louder dynamics, I would use 32nd notes. Now that we've decided that, let's get into the piece. It starts at a very soft dynamic with 3 P's here, pianissimo, and does a long crescendo all the way through the first half in order to get to triple F here in the middle of the piece. Then it does a long diminuendo to get all the way back to 3 P's. You can see that the term crescendo poco a poco is used over and over again throughout this whole first half. That just means get louder little by little. And on the second page, you can see diminuendo poco a poco is written out over and over again. And again, that means get softer little by little. So as you can see, it's going to take some good pacing on your part in order to make the dynamics convincing with a long crescendo up to the peak in the middle and then the long diminuendo down to the end. The thing you're going to want to try to avoid is getting too loud too soon, and then too soft too soon on the second page. In order to help you with that, there are these little guideposts that you have written for you. You can see there's a pianissimo written right here, then piano a couple bars later, then mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte, fortissimo, second page showing you the 3 Fs, down to fortissimo, down to mezzo forte, down to mezzo piano, and so on throughout the whole piece. You can use those little guideposts to help you know where you are in the piece dynamically. Another thing that really helps with pacing is just starting each one of these sections. So start this pianissimo section right here and just play like maybe to here, just so you get an idea of what that dynamic is. Then stop, jump to this part, play these first few notes at piano. Go to the next spot, just play about this much, jumping up to mezzo piano. Then the next spot, mezzo forte, and so on. Just starting each one of these sections, knowing what the dynamic is going to be. This is going to help you just kind of know where you need to be volume-wise while you're playing, and will help you know how to get to it without getting too loud before you get there. Now let's talk about some of the trouble spots. In measure 4, make sure that the flams are nice and tight. I'm talking about these guys right here. You don't want your flams to be too open. You don't want them to be da-da, da-da, because you don't want people to mistake them for a rhythm. You want them to be nice and tight. It's just an embellishment. It should sound jut, 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 jut. Think of the word jut to help you know what it should sound like. In measure 5, be careful not to come in too soon on this note. The tendency is to want to jump these rests and come in early here, so just be careful of that. In measure 6, you're going to want to make sure this figure has a nice flow to it. These rests have a way of making people sound disjointed. You want it to just be da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. So just watch out for that. In measure 7, don't cheat this roll. It's a quarter note plus an eighth note here. The tendency will be to end it too short. In measure 9, you have a 4-stroke rough right here, and it's at the dynamic of piano. Whenever I play a soft 4-stroke rough, I tend to use the sticking right, left, left, right for the primary note. You want these grace notes to be softer than the primary note, so using that sticking helps a lot. If you can put a little crescendo through that, that helps to make it clear. You want it to be ra. Putting a tiny crescendo through those grace notes can help with clarity. In measure 13, you need to be careful with this rhythm here, these dotted 16th, 32nd notes. To get the spacing right on them, use the phrase date today, date today, 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 today. You want there to be a nice contrast between them and these 16 note triplets that come later. You don't want these right here to sound like triplets. Same thing over here in measure 14 with these guys. This roll here in measure 14, that's where you're going to start using 32nd notes as your roll bass. So instead of thinking of the rhythm da 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 da, now you're going to think digga 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 da. That's true for all the rolls in the loud section. Careful right here in measure 15. Again, this is a longer space and it's really easy to jump in early. So make sure you're subdividing in there, that you come in exactly right on this note and not early. That'll be the tendency. In measures 17, 18, and 19 right here, you have these kind of written out accelerandos going from 8th note to triplet to 16th notes. Each one of these has the feel of getting slightly faster because you're fitting more notes within the beat. Same thing here, you have triplets, 16ths to 5s, 16ths, 5s, and 16-note triplets. So make sure that you're really filling in the space correctly, that you're evenly playing 8th notes within the beat, evenly playing triplets, evenly playing 16ths. They have a tendency of affecting one another. So first maybe play a measure of 8ths, then try playing a measure of triplets, then a measure of 16ths. Same for all these guys. That can help you sort of figure out how they should fit together. In order to make them even, I play them with one hand. So all these I play with my right hand. I play all of these with my right hand. The one exception is I'll play all of these with my right hand, but as soon as I get to the 6 tuplets here, I go to alternating. So I'm using both hands for that figure. Measure 21 here, that should be the loudest spot in the whole piece. So make sure that you're pacing it correctly, that's where you finally hit your loud spot. Save it, save it, save it till you get to there. Jumping down to measure 27, again, be careful with these spaces right here. You don't want to cheat the long note or the rest. In measure 29, make sure to give this roll full value. This half note tends to get cheated a lot. I've heard people cheat it by as much as a whole quarter note, so make sure you're counting really carefully that you're giving that roll full value. Measure 33, with this roll starting here to the end, every roll you play from there to the end should go back to using the bass of 16th note triplets. So thinking da 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 on your rolls instead of digga 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 da. The reason why we switch the roll basses is because the more strokes you fit into your roll, the more intense it's going to sound. And we're trying to get softer and take away energy from our rolls from here to the end. So that's why you want to use a slower roll bass for the soft stuff. In measure 36, right here, make sure you can get in and out of these rolls cleanly. You have these rolls going into 16-note triplets. So just make sure that you have a really good start to the roll and a really good release on the roll. So attacks and releases, and make sure you don't lose any time in that little spot there. So just as a recap, play with really good time and rhythm, smooth rolls, and great dynamic pacing. I recommend recording yourself and then listening back while reading the music. Not only will this help you catch mistakes you might have missed when you were playing, but it's also going to help you learn the piece faster. I find that people don't spend enough time on mental practice, and a good way to just do that is to record yourself and listen back. You'll see you learn the piece much, much better. All right, good luck.